Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we are going to learn the second letter of Shibh-e-Mustaliah. That one is a Laam, and we also discuss in this lesson Ra as well. So now we are going to start it, the first one, the first letter. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إنا أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة باللسان يفقه قولي. Okay, now the first one we see there is a definition of Laam. The first method, the letter Lam in the word of Allah is called Lamul Jalalah. When Lamul Jalala is preceded by the letter with the Zabar and Paish, the Lam should be pronounced thick, full, and heavy. So we simply define this one. If there is a Allah word, if there is Allah word and that have a letter of Lamul Jalala, okay, the Allah word Lam is called Lamul Jalala. If Lamul Jalala is connecting with the previous letter, with the connecting letter that will connect with the Allah Lam. So if has a Zabar, a Paish, then the Lamul Jalala will pronounce with the heavy sounds. I'm repeating again, there are two things. The one thing is that the Allah Lam is there. The second thing, the connecting the previous letter that will connect with the Lamul Jalala, that will join with the Lamul Jalala, means that with the Allah Lam, so that has a sign of Zabar and Pesh. The Lamul Jalala means that the Lam sound will be pronounced with the heavy sounds, with the thick sounds. Now we can see the example. There is an example here. We said that if the connecting letter has a sign of Zabar, okay, a Pesh, then the Lamul Jalala will pronounce with the heavy sound. Okay, we see, just wait a while. We see that there is a Ra. Ra is connecting with the Lam. Okay, Ra has a Paish. Okay, the first condition is fulfilled. Ra has a Paish, and this Ra is connecting with the Lam. There is a Lam, Lamul Jalala in red color. So when we connect this Ra with the Lam, so Noon Sa Zabar Nas, Ra is connecting with the Lam, Ra Lam Peshrul, Lam erect Zabar La, Ha Zair Hi, Nasrullahi, Nasrullahi. You can focus on the Lam letter, there is a heavy sound. Nasrullahi, Nasrullahi. Okay, now the second example with the Zabar sign, if there is a Zabar letter that is connecting with the Lamul Jalala, means that the Allah Lam, so the sound of Lam will be pronounced with the heavy, thick, and full mouth sound. Now you can see there is a Lam that will connect with the Lamul Jalala, Allah Lam. So Lam has a Zabar. So Lam Zabar Lal. Lam erect Zabar La means that the Khadi Zabar is there. Lam Khadi Zabar La. Ha Pesh Hu. So this word will be pronounced with the heavy sounds. Qalallahu. Qalallahu. And now you can see the another example with the Zabar. So Alif is there and Alif is connecting with the Lam. Hamza Lam Zabar Al means that Alif Lam Zabar Al, Lam Khadi Zabar La, Ha Pesh Hu. So this will pronounce Allahu. Why I said the Zabar and one time I said the Alif? Okay, that a rule we'll discuss in the next lesson, why we are pronouncing Hamza, because a written is there is a Alif. So now you focus on your two things. One thing is the Allah Laam. The second thing, the connecting letter with the Laam must be Zabar and Paish. Then the Laamul Jalala means that the Allah Laam will be pronounced with the heavy sounds. Okay, and there is the second part. Okay, where is the Lamul Jalala pronounced with the low sounds? First, we see the definitions. The second method, the letter in the word of Allah is called the Lamul Jalala. Allah Lam is called the Lamul Jalala. If there is a Lam and that is connecting with the Zair letter, with the Zair letter, that the Lam pronounced with the low sounds. For example, there are two examples with the Zair. So Lam has a Zair sign, the first Lam has a Zair sign, and the first letter is connecting with the Lamul Jalala, Allah Lam. So Lam Zair Lil, Lam Khadi Zabar La, Ha Zair Hi, Lillahi. Lillahi. Now you can feel there is a low sound, there is a thin sound, there is a normal sound, not a heavy sound. Lillahi. The second example is that mostly we pronounce, we read this ayah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So how we pronounce this one, Bismillah, Bismillah word. Ba sin zir bis, mim lam zir mil. We are spelling the letter. Mim lam zir. Mim is connecting with the lam. Mim lam zir mil. Lam khadi zabar la. Ha zir hi. Bismillahi. In the first category, in the first part, we pronounce with the heavy sound. We said that if the Lamul Jalala, Allah Lam is there, okay, and the connecting with the previous letter that has a sign of Zabar, a Paish, then the Alif, Allah Lam pronounced with the heavy sounds. If there is a Lamul Jalala and connecting with the previous letter that has a sign of Zair, then the Lamul Jalala, Allah Lam will be pronounced with the low sound, with the thin sounds. So this one, the first letter where we pronounce sometime with the heavy sound and sometime we pronounce with the low sounds. Okay, the third category, the Lam category, there are a lot of definitions, a lot of category of raw. Okay, but we focus on the simple things that the everyone can easily understand. Okay, if there is a raw letter has a, okay, we focus on the raw letter where we pronounce a raw with the heavy sound and where we pronounce a raw with the low sounds. Okay, definition we started, if the letter ra has a zabar, a paish, that pronounced with the heavy, with the full mouth sounds. Okay, simply definition, simply we define this one. If ra has a zabar, a paish, then it pronounce ra with the heavy sound, with the full mouth sound. If ra has a sign of zir, then the ra will pronounce with the low sound. Okay, now we see the example and spell it, then you can easily understand where we are pronouncing ra with the heavy sound and where we are pronouncing with the low sound, with the thin sound. Ra pish ru, ra has a pish, the condition is fulfill. Ra pishru, sin pishu, lam pishlu, rusulu. Ra, now you can see that they are pronouncing ra with the heavy sound. Ra pishru. This is the heavy sound. And now see the second example. Ra zaba ra. This is the sound. This is the actual sound with the heavy sound. Ra zaba ra, sin zaba sa, dal zabar da, rasa da. Rasa da. This is the sound. And now we see the example where we are pronouncing the with the low sound, with the thin sound, with the normal sound. So if ra has a sign of zir, then the ra will be pronounced with the low sound. Ba zabar ba, ra zir ri, qaf zabar qa, bariqa. Now you can see that ra is simply pronounced with the low sound. Ra zir ri, bariqa, ri is a normal sound, is flowing from your mouth, is not uh, pronouncing from your under the mouth. Okay, so pronouncing with the normal sound, so your sound a flow coming from your mouth, okay, from the outside. So bariqa, bariqa. So today you have this lesson. We completed the chapter number 2. Okay, in this chapter we discuss about the first group. That one is Mustalia, that the heavy sound pronounced every time. The second one is Mustafila, that letter pronounced with the low sound. The third one is the Shibh-e-Mustaliah. Shibh-e-Mustaliah has a 3 letter Alif Lam Ra. So these letters have two subcategories. Alif has a two category that we discussed in the previous lesson, and Lam has two methods, two subcategories that we discuss in today, and Ra has two category as well that we discuss in this lessons. So Jazakallah khair for watching today lesson at Quran and Sunnah Academy. Today you learn the two methods Lam, Lamul Jalalah, the basic method of Ra as well. MashaAllah, you are doing so very well. If you are if you have a hunger, if you have a thirst about learning about the Quran pronunciation, so you must be subscribe this channel, so because you receive our videos on a time every time your Quran journey start here. So thank you so very much. Jazakallah khair. Wassalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.